Good afternoon, Your Honor. Daniel Magoo.
All right. Mr. Gu, you are representing yourself. I do have to apprise you that you are before the court on charge of resisting and obstructing a police officer. That is a high court misdemeanor, or what technically is known as a high court misdemeanor, and or felony punishable by up to 2 years, $2,000 fine plus court costs. There are great perils in representing yourself. In this, you have to understand that I am going to treat you the same as though you know the laws and the rules of evidence. I will not treat you worse because you are not represented. I will not treat you better or grant any favors or try to clarify anything for you. If, for whatever reason, during any point in this proceeding, you wish to be represented by counsel and cannot afford to hire counsel, counsel will be appointed to represent you. As I have in the past hearings asked you to acknowledge what I've said, I'm going to only indicate that I believe that you understand English. You believe that the words that I have said to you are understood, so that we don't get into, you need to remove the gum from your mouth.
Mr. Mercer is back in the courtroom, and this time is about to learn the hard way why having legal representation is absolutely essential. If this is your first time catching one of these breakdowns, this is actually part 2 of a case we covered earlier. Mesa has already gained a reputation for making questionable choices in front of Judge Simpson, and unfortunately, he seems determined to keep that streak going. From the start, things didn't look good for him. He refused to properly answer the judge's questions and carried himself with an attitude that came off smug and dismissive. That kind of behavior in court never works in your favor, especially when you're standing there without a lawyer by your side. To make matters worse, he was even chewing gum while addressing the court. A small detail, but it says a lot about his lack of preparation and respect for the setting. This case is a perfect reminder of why representation matters. Navigating the legal system on your own is not only risky, but can also turn a bad situation into something far worse. Watching Mesa's choices unfold really highlights how quickly things can spiral if you don't take the process seriously. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. What happens next between Mercer and Judge Simpson is where things really get interesting. So, let's dive in and see how this latest courtroom exchange plays out.
And
Thank you.
so I will not ask you to acknowledge. I will presume that you do indeed understand everything that I've said. Now, having said that, what are we doing with this case?
I'd like to move for evidentiary hearing or prelim.
You wish to have a preliminary examination?
Preliminary examination, yes.
Would the people have their witnesses available the second?
We can try, Your Honor, but before moving toward that, would the court be willing to make its inquiries about discovery? I am aware of the defendant having filed a writ of mandamus with the Court of Appeals for the state of Michigan.
Yes.
That was subsequently dismissed without prejudice by the Court of Appeals.
Correct.
Contained within that, though, there are allegations that my office has violated its Brady obligations and has not provided sufficient discovery. So I'm not sure if we're ready to move forward to preliminary exam. The defendant is saying that he doesn't have all of the discovery. That is the concern of the court. The record I feel compelled to make at this time, though, is that the people have provided, I do believe, complete discovery to the defendant, and I believe that some of the representations that were made in this writ of mandamus that has been dismissed appear to allege that things that have already been denied by this court should be produced. Furthermore, the defendant filed a motion with no notice of hearing attached to it. So there's an outstanding motion in this case as well, no hearing date scheduled. So I'm hoping that we can sort of reconcile both of those things as whether or not discovery is complete, the defendant's prepared to move forward, and if he ever intends to file a notice of hearing to go along with the motion that I received in this case on 11/22.
Mr. Magoo, your response?
My response is that I thought this was the hearing that we were setting for the motion. So if I have to set a motion for a notice of hearing for that motion, I will do that today, Your Honor, promptly.
What about discovery?
I'm ready to move forward on my what I meant by my discovery comment was that there's still no exculpatory evidence as far as that I did anything wrong, as far as anything that they've submitted. So if it was improper for the wording, Your Honor, I apologize, but my ultimate goal is have the prosecution present their evidence against me.
I'm going to indicate discovery is complete because I don't know what you're saying, because what you just said regarding discovery didn't make any sense. As it regards the motion, we will hear the motion the motion will be heard on date of exam.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Deal with it at that point in time. So the people would have their witnesses available on the 2nd.
We can try for the 2nd, Your Honor.
Preliminary examination in person, January 2nd, 2025, 12 noon, that is before me.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And continue.
This case is a textbook example of why having legal representation is so important. The defendant walked into court acting confident, almost smug, and seemed to believe he could outsmart the judge. Why he thought that would be a good idea is anyone's guess. If anyone has thoughts on what drives someone to act this irrationally, I'd love to hear it in the comments. What really stands out is how much his behavior resembles that of a sovereign citizen type defendant. I've covered cases like that before, and the pattern is always the same. An overconfident, dismissive tone toward the judge, paired with the belief that the rules don't apply to them. It's a strategy that never works, and this hearing proves it once again. The charges against him are serious. He's facing allegations of assaulting a police officer, and as a direct result, he lost custody of his child. Courts don't take those decisions lightly, which shows just how severe the situation really is. But instead of approaching the case with seriousness, he treated the hearing as if it were just another casual day. He denied responsibility, ignored the need for a lawyer, and only made matters worse for himself. The truth is, representing yourself almost never ends well. Without an attorney, you're left vulnerable to every mistake, and judges tend to lose patience quickly with defendants who come off as dismissive. Sadly, in this case, his choices not only affected him but also his child, which makes the outcome even harder to watch. That wraps up this part of the breakdown. The next hearing for this case is set for January, and you can bet it's going to be interesting to see how it unfolds. I'll be covering it when the footage is released, so stay tuned. If you found this analysis useful, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow and lets me keep bringing you more courtroom coverage. Thanks for watching, and as always, take care.